tonight, in this special episode of Transform One More, we will be talking to a mother who is special and who's dear to me. This is my own mom, Louise Raymond-Charles, and I'm just so privileged to have her on the show today. And as we highlight the importance of mothers in our lives, I just wanted to have a conversation with Mommy, and she would share with you some of her experiences and what that helped her, how that helped her to be the mother that she is today. So Mommy, welcome. Lovely to have you here. And I want to start first with a bit of background in terms of, you growing up as a child, and you had experiences, difficult, not so difficult, and they all shaped you to be the kind of mother that you are. And I should just mention here that Mommy she has 3 children, my elder brother, my elder sister, and then myself. You always had an ethos of perfection, of doing the best that we could do. And I want to start there because there was a statement that you always said, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. And tell us a bit about where that came from and why you thought that was important for your children to know.
Always looking at other people maybe and seeing things, and I find whatever I have to do, it should be done right. Even in the days because from small, when I went back to Kairuku, there's only ladies, there was 3 ladies, my grandmother, my big first cousin and I. So all the work in the house was done by us, seeing about the yard, seeing about the garden, seeing about the animals. So from even there was a determination. Well, you got advice and you follow the instructions. And if you don't follow the instructions, you know what comes next. So from there was this determination, guess learning from there, that what you have to do it right. And I remember the statement you made about doing it over. I remember that statement. I think this comes from Student's Companion too, when it said, perseverance seldom fails. Right? So I know it's to do it right. And when I start to sew, I started using newspaper to form little things for dollies, and then I start moving on from there. So from then on, but I always was particular about having things done neat.
And that is something you share definitely with all of us. And as you mentioned, that second statement, perseverance seldom fails. And those were 2 that I think I always grew with. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again, and perseverance seldom fails. And that's something that young people could continue to adopt in whatever aspect of their lives. And I just want to touch on, because you became a single parent by not by choice, by circumstance, when Daddy unfortunately passed away. And that for you would have been a difficult point. That would have been a turning place where some people may have even turned their back on God. But for some reason at that point, your Christianity, your relationship, it seemed to hold you together, to keep you stronger. Was that the main thing that kind of kept you going?
I want to think so because I was, I know a little bit about the Bible, and I know what God asked us to do. And one of the things I know, and it's my sister Joyce who encouraged me into Adventism, and to me that was in all now I thinking about it as the most positive thing in my life, because I couldn't see myself going any other way. In Kairuku was hard work, and we were all the ladies who were doing, the 3 of us home were ladies. The men was in Maracaibo or Aruba working. So we were the ladies. So like sometimes when I have to go to school, and I didn't have much school like the others, but whenever I have to go to school, I have to get up early, go and get the grass for the cattle or the goat or the whatever. So that was...
So take us back there. So you were born in Kairuku.
Yeah.
And then you spent some time in Trinidad.
I came here from what I was told from, I guess, my parents. I came here for I was a year.
So you've gone through quite a lot of experiences. You had tragedy, you have physical sort of disability to kind of deal with, and yet still you look at your children now, and what would you say could be like one of your proudest experiences for when you look at your children at this stage of their lives?
what it did for Devon, I'm thankful because it could have been worse. It could have been anyway. Knowing the situation of the world, what is in and what is leaving in his time when he was growing up, it could have been much different. So I have to thank the Lord for taking care of that as well. But I know, although I haven't seen, say, well, like monetary satisfaction, but the satisfaction to have you all growing up in England for all these years, I was able to travel so much time. And I always kind of boasting too that all my years traveling from Trinidad to England, Canada, I never paid a cent of mine. Never paid a cent of one.
Okay. And as we close off, just if you wanted to give some advice to say parents, be it young parents, parents now growing their children, just give one piece of advice you would give to parents, what would that be?
Have the Lord as your guide. Know about God, let His word be your guide. Because regardless of all the books men write, in my estimation, the only book that really changed you into the right direction is the Bible. And although I'm still learning to use it, I know that is one of the greatest help for me, that I always pay attention. Everything worked out fine up to this point in time, and I'm really proud of what you're all doing. I'm really, really proud. Sometimes I try not to talk too much for it to sound like boasting. And I would go back to say, all of this is because of God having a part of our lives.
Thank you. In this episode, we are just really acknowledging moms. Today, I am so pleased that I have my big brother, Devon, here with me. As Devon is the eldest child of my mom, I just want him to just tell us a bit of some experience or something that, he had that special time with mom that you thought was something that helped to bond you guys together. What you'd like to share related to that?
Well, thanks Ayoola for having me. What I had growing up was a lot of recreational time with my mother. We used to go around to a lot of sporting activities like football, cricket. I live way down in South, and she would come and bring me to Port of Spain to see games, either cricket game or football games. I've done a lot of games in South also, But basically, I had a lot of bonding time with my mom because we did a lot of traveling, visiting family, mostly on vacation period. We'd go look for aunts and uncles, cousins, that we have around. And we always had a guy to guide me now, Well, first of all, we had the Lord to guide us because we grew up as Christians. And, then my mother will instill a certain amount of discipline in us, where you know what time to be inside, you know where you could go and where you could ask to go to and where you can't. Because sometimes you have bazaars and things in school, and because you being a Christian, you wouldn't, she wouldn't really let you participate in it. But if you participate, to go for the early part where it have games and things, you have to get in before the sunset, all these kind of things, but basically discipline was serious but not strict, so that there is little room to maneuver, but you can't go too far because you have to be straight. It's love, discipline, why I'm here today. For the younger generation, please listen to all your parents. You need to listen to your parents and direct your life, put God first, and everything will be normal.
Today, what we see happening a lot in society is somehow it seems as though parents, and particularly there's this dimension with boys that seem to be losing their way. Does the impact or the relationship they have with their mother, you think that has any effect on what's happening, what we're seeing in society?
Well, I will say yes, because I grew up single parent with my mother. So what I could see is to the rest of parents out there, those that single and that have both parents. Parents, you have to hold on to your children. You know, the parents need to start that discipline from small, so that, because most of the children, their actions are responsible on things that the parents let them free to do, you know. Discipline from within the home, discipline from parents first, should guide the younger generation, especially the younger males, along, because most parents are single parents, most of them are mothers alone, you know. But they have to try and keep the discipline at home first, put God first, and the discipline will come.
Lovely. And if you had to say a special message to Mommy?
Well, Mom, the only thing I could say is that I love you and will always love you. Love you, Mom.
Thank you. And as we continue this special episode for moms, I have with me my sister, Ayanna, and we're just going to continue just sharing some experiences with you about the special impact that our mother had on our lives. And Ayanna, I just want you to start with something that you remember from your growing years, or even as a grown-up now, that really helped to make that special relationship with mom. Something that you think is special, that makes her special. What would that be?
There are several things I remember. One that stands out in my mind most vividly would be a high school activity where I was being picked on, and Mom visited the school, and her presence was felt. There I knew for a fact that I had a protector in my mother.
And what you would say, if you had to say one thing that you think makes her special, one thing that makes her mom, what would that be?
Mommy is resilient. I know for the last 2 years, resilience is a word that we have been hearing ever so often. But I believe when I look at Mommy, her ability to bounce back through whatever circumstance. Yes, she may cry, she may have her moments when, like any human being, when things don't go according to plan. But her ability to bounce back and pray and fight and say, you know what, we are going to make it, we are going to do it. That resilience and her determination, I believe that's really a stepping stone for me as an individual now. And I really admire that about Mommy.
And you know, she always had these quotations that she would always drop on us to kind of keep us in line. Which one of them do you think you recall the most and had the greatest impact on you?
Oh wow, there's so many quotations to remember. You know, I'm smiling because there's one that stands out as an adult and a married person now. Marriage is not for children, you know. And I recounted that a couple of weeks ago talking to a group of individuals, and they said they never heard it before. And I said, yes, I heard it from my mom. You know, marriage is not for children. So that for me, yeah, that one stood out.
Lovely. And that one, she always said to us, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Does that come into play in your career, in your life? Do you see that sort of, is that the same sort of resilience that you think you might have embodied, or is that something that you see in your own experiences at all?
But basically, we were taught to do things properly. You know, we couldn't do things halfway. At the end of the day, there is something to be done, and it was supposed to be done with a particular standard. Yeah, it wasn't like you sweep the side of the room and then you hide the dust under the carpet. That was not possible at our house. I'm sure you may have remembered little shortcuts that we may have wanted to take. Yeah, Mommy is about doing things properly.
And in your profession, you encounter lots of different experiences with students. And what would you say to mothers out there that would be one of the most important things that they would need to instill in their children, based on what you experience with students in school? What do you think mothers could do differently or better, or in terms of their experiences with their children?
Firstly, there are always things we can do differently and always things we can do better. One of the things I've learned over the years, and you know, looking at Mommy and growing up as well, into my adult life and even with my students is that you act based on the knowledge that you have. So at the time when we were growing up, the knowledge that mommy had, she acted on that. So I cannot fault her for that action. I may not be pleased with some of the things. However, I know she did it out of love, and I will always encourage my children at school, whatever you are doing, ensure that you are proud of what you have done. You have pride in your work. So don't do something and think, oh, you know you can do it better, so do it to the best of your ability. For parents, of course, I would say to parents, take an interest in your child or in your children. Yeah, you don't have to be the buddies and the friends, but you basically need to know what's happening with them. And I don't believe mommy would have missed certain things with us. There may have been things that we may have wanted to hide, yeah, but mommy was on point with what was happening with us. And that communication, to keep that communication open, yeah, because you know I'm more the talkative one, I am, yes. To keep the communication open with your children. Yes, there would be things I would come to mommy with, you know, and I know what the answer would be, but I never felt as though I shouldn't come to her with it because she was always attentive to listen, and she still is, you know, and maybe she will put in her 2 cents and say, well, you know, that shouldn't happen, that should happen, or whatever. But listening, being attentive to your children, you know, and making sure that your children are aware that they know that they can come to you as well. You have their back, so take an interest in your children.
Wonderful, wonderful. If there was one thing that you wanted to pay tribute to mommy for, if you can tell the viewers, what would be your tribute to your mother be for this Mother's Day?
My tribute to mommy would be, keep doing what you're doing and keep praying for us. I know firmly that because of your prayers, we are where we are today. Keep praying for us. Don't ever stop praying for your children. I love you dearly, as you know. I love you dearly, and I really appreciate you as my mother. And I wouldn't trade you actually, you know. So that's basically it for me. Keep praying for us. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you so much for your prayers. And I really appreciate you, mommy. Love and blessings.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you, viewers. Thank you to my mom. Thank you to my brother, Devon. Thank you to my sister, Ayanna, for joining us here on this episode today. And remember, moms, happy Mother's Day to you. One more thing I just want to share and remind you, moms, you were created to climb mountains and reach the top. You will learn, you will grow, you will succeed because you are an overcomer. You are a conqueror and you are a winner. Thank you once again for stopping by, and see you all again soon.